Still to come here on The Factor Uncensored, a movement to get more black men registered and out voting. Stay with us. And welcome back to this special edition of The Factor Uncensored from the George R. Brown Convention Center, where the National Urban League Conference is going on. Now, there is a move here to get more black men registered and voting. We talked to the man in charge of that. So when it comes to making sure that African-American men are out there voting, how tough of a job is that for you?
Well, you know, I think it's difficult. I think African-American men sometimes have a difficulty connecting their personal issues to the political process, but that's just the job of organizing, right? It's looking at your local area and saying what needs to be changed and making a plan to make that change from point A to point Z, not just in a political year. We're going to be doing organizing work from 2023 and beyond. And, you know, election year is just a louder version of what's always happening, and that's our philosophy.
And what do you do in order to reach those who may sometimes be unreachable and not willing to hear that message, but it's important to get them in those polls?
Well, I mean, that's our specialty. In the case of black men, we speak their language because we are them. You know, we reach them at the doors through our partnerships with groups like the NFL Players Association. You know, I think it's about understanding you have to meet black men where they are, talk to them about their issues, and then consistently engage with them. Don't just pop up when the election comes by.
Is social media a tool that you guys use often, or is it boots on the ground, face-to-face for the black male to get them to vote?
Well, it's both. I mean, you know, the reality is that we're used to people talking at us, not to us, right?
Right.
And so black men's perspectives are diverse, just as diverse as we are as a diaspora. There's Jamaicans, Haitians, Puerto Ricans, Afro-Cubans. Black men come in all shapes and colors, and every organization can make that mistake and sort of generalize. But the key is to see the differences, recognize them, and celebrate them.
For those who are looking at the black male voter, what are their issues? Obviously, there's diversity there, but there should be at least a core of some of the things that they believe in and that they want to focus on and change here in this country. What do you think their top issues would be?
Well, you know, I mean, a lot of African-American fathers find it very important to get support. You know, we are the group of men who care deeply about our children, right? I would also say workforce development. A lot of us work multiple jobs, right? And we want to get a fair wage to do that work. I would add that a lot of us are business owners, right? We want a fair shake. We never wanted anything given to us. We just want the opportunity to compete fairly. So, I mean, we are, you know, African-American men are Americans, right? And our issues aren't that different than other folks, but we just want a fair chance to express those issues. That's why we started a campaign to register 1 million black men to vote called Strength in Numbers. You know, this is a key initiative. It's going to lead from 2023, 2024, and beyond. But the key thing to remember is that getting black men involved in the process means respecting who they are as humans.
And do you see an audience that, or demographic rather, that's tougher to reach than the other? Maybe older black men or younger black men, millennials? Who's the toughest to reach for you?
Well, I'd say for sure, coming out of the pandemic, you know, young African-American men are, we're struggling, right? And just like anyone else, we've been sort of isolated, right? So I just came out of a mental health panel discussing the challenges that we face of being alone and isolated. And I mean, what we're trying to do is build community. We're starting in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and we're going to have a national strategy to engage these black men. The reality is that we are taught from a young age that we have a responsibility to be a part of the electoral process, but not many organizations have mastered that, and we look forward to working with organizations like Urban League to approach those black men everywhere they exist.